Breaking news coming in. This is from Donald Trump administration that has appealed before the US Supreme Court on tariffs. India finds a mention in Trump's appeal before the US Supreme Court. In this appeal, they have told the Supreme Court that they have authorized tariffs against India for purchasing Russian energy products to deal with pre-existing national emergency regarding Russia's war in Ukraine. Regarding this as a crucial aspect of US's push for peace, they've said that this is their help to that war-torn country. The Supreme Court of the United States is told by Donald Trump the stakes in this case could not be higher. Let me go across to Kruthar joining us from the newsroom. Kruthar, we've seen that he is at daggers with the US Supreme Court. He's using an old law to try and support the tariffs that was only to be used for emergency. And now this is another attempt by Donald Trump to try and get through those tariffs that are arbitrary and whimsical.
Indeed, Rhythm, and it was the Federal Circuit Court in the United States which had a very major 7-4 majority ruling that had ruled, in fact, that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which authorizes the President of the United States to, under circumstances of national emergencies, to exert some special powers, was used, in fact, to impose the tariffs when the Liberation Day, quote-unquote, was announced all the way back in February and April subsequently when the tariffs came into picture. And the main argument of the Federal Circuit Court is that since there is no national emergency, the invocation at the moment under the provisions under which the tariffs have been imposed by the President without taking them through the Congress is something that is overreaching his powers, and subsequently that they should be struck down. Now there is an appeal in the United States Supreme Court which at the moment does enjoy a majority tilting towards the Republicans in general. So it will be very crucial to see as these ideological factors also play out, unfortunately, in the United States Supreme Court along with other constitutional factors as we have seen over a period of last few months. But the constitutional battles for Donald Trump administration continue, as we have seen time and again over various laws, not just the tariffs itself, but also over the deportation of illegal immigrants and subsequently other things as well. Federal judges have been striking down a lot of moves made by the Trump administration through executive orders, and they have been challenged. Some have been upheld and some have been held behind by the United States Supreme Court. The main contention at the matter that will be argued in the United States Supreme Court now on behalf of Donald Trump's administration is that the trade deficits that the United States has with other democracies and other economies is somewhat of a national emergency from the lens of the President of the United States, which is why he has executive power under the act that I was mentioning earlier, that is the imposition of tariffs under the IEEPA, and which is why he does not have to go through the United States Parliament, that is the US Congress and the Senate, to get the tariffs approved. Now this is going to be a huge fight ahead of the midterm elections also coming up in a couple of years' time, that we see that the Trump administration is going to be at odds with the Democrats and the other administrations, as well as the regional governors also question on the tariffs policy that is translating into higher inflation for the US consumer in the end, and local businesses are also facing a lot of harm because of the imports that they have from third countries are also facing tremendous amount of tariffs. But at the moment the legal challenge is now in the United States Supreme Court. Trump is going to defend and probably have a little bit of a hard time to defend legally the position and the acts under which he's imposing the tariffs on world nations. Back to the studio.
All right, let me